Hello, I wonder how you're all getting on. By the time you watch this or listen to this, I think we'll be getting into autumn, when the evenings will be getting darker, earlier, and the leaves all coming off the trees, and the weather feels definitely chillier. Now, when I tell you today's story, I'm going to pretend to be the girl in the story. So when I put this shawl on that I've got here, I'll be that girl. And when I take it off, I'll be me again. Okay? So here we go with today's story. Hello, my name is Miriam. I'm going to tell you a story today about something which happened to me when I was a young girl. It's a bit scary, but exciting at the same time. I lived with my family in a country called Egypt. Egypt was not our homeland, but we'd lived there as slaves to the Egyptian king, or the pharaoh. Egyptian kings are called pharaohs, and his people. We had to do everything they commanded. Whatever they said, we had to do. One day, the Egyptian king decided that my people, we are the Israelites, were becoming too many. There were too many of us, and we were a nuisance. They didn't like us. So he had a plan. He gave a very, very cruel order. He ordered that all the newborn baby boys should be killed. No. I was so worried because my mother was expecting a baby. What would happen if that baby should be a boy? We couldn't let him be killed. Well, the day came when the baby was born, and it was indeed a boy. A new little brother. A beautiful, bouncing baby boy. Oh, we did love him. We tried to keep him hidden from the Egyptians, but you know how loud babies cry, especially when they're hungry. I'm sure that Mia and her big sisters can remember when Michael was born and how loud he cried when he was hungry. When he was 3 months old, my mother hatched a plot because we didn't think we could keep him safe hidden any longer. My mother made a special waterproof basket, and she laid the baby in the basket. When the coast was clear, she took him down to the river, and she floated the basket in the river, on the river. Then I watched from a distance to see what would happen. After a while, something happened that happened every morning. The Pharaoh, the king's daughter, came down to the river to bathe in the river. She did that every morning with all her servant girls. Would she spot the basket, I wonder? I held my breath and stayed as still as I could. You know what it's like when you play hide and seek, don't you? You have to go as small as you can, and as still as you can, and as quiet as you can. After a little while, the princess did see the basket, and as soon as she opened it, my little brother started to cry. Feeding time again. Well, the princess then took pity on my brother, and she decided she wanted to take him back to the palace. Oh, what could I do? I took a deep breath. I summoned up all the courage that I could, and I stepped forward out of my hiding place and went to speak to the princess. I was a bit scared. Would you like me to fetch someone from the Israelite mothers to take care of the baby for you? I asked. The princess looked at me and said, yes, please, she would like that. What she didn't realise was I was going to fetch the baby's own mother, my own mother, so that the baby would have his own mother looking after him after all. So, my baby brother wasn't killed, but he was taken to the king's palace to be brought up by the princess and her servants. And the princess chose a name for him. And the name she chose for my baby brother was Moses. And she chose Moses because that name meant I drew him up out of the water. And that's what she'd done, hadn't she? She'd found the basket and she'd picked it up out of the water. Now Moses was safe, and God had great plans for my brother Moses. You may hear more stories about my brother Moses and my brother Aaron. He was another brother of mine. And you may hear some more stories about what we did when we were grown up. But they'll be for another day. Now I'm me. Last time we had a story about people being unkind to their brother, didn't we? Do you remember? Joseph's brothers were very unkind to him. Today we've heard about a sister, Miriam, watching over her brother and being kind to him, helping to keep him safe. God had planned a very important job for Moses to do when he grew up. Miriam didn't know that when Moses was still a baby. We may hear a story about that one day. I'm sure you'll hear some more stories about Moses and what God's special plan was for him. But you know, God has a special plan for all of us. I wonder what his special plan might be for you. He might even still have a special plan for me, even though I'm old now. I just don't know. God's full of surprises in the things he has for us to do. Till we see you again next time. Stay safe. Have fun. Look after each other, your family and your friends. Take care. Bye. And God bless.